You know that feeling when you meet someone and suddenly they are all you can think about? Like you're checking your phone constantly and you're staying up way too late talking to them. You're thinking about them when you wake up. You feel energized, inspired, maybe even a little bit obsessed. Your brain is basically going like, yes, this person, more of this person, give me more now. Welcome to NRE, New Relationship Energy. If you've been around non-monogamy, polyamory in this world for a while, you've probably heard people talk about NRE like it's either the greatest thing ever or something dangerous that you should be afraid of. So today we're going to talk about what NRE actually is, what's happening in your brain and your body when you're in it, and why it can make some people make questionable life decisions, and also why I don't think NRE is actually the enemy. But I do think you should slow way the hell down. Welcome back to Nope, We're Not Monogamous. I'm Ellecia Paine, your non-monogamy coach. Okay, so new relationship energy is it's an intense emotional and physiological excitement that happens at the beginning, the early stages of a romantic or a sexual connection, right? It's that rush of excitement, curiosity, desire, fascination, emotional bonding, sexual chemistry. And the important thing to understand is that this isn't just emotional, right? It's biological. Your brain is literally running a cocktail of chemicals designed to bond you to another human. It's what it was made for, okay? So when you're in NRE, your brain chemistry shifts in a few really big ways. Dopamine, this is the reward chemical. It's the same system involved in things like gambling and addiction, right? Every text message, every kiss, every moment of attention, your brain goes, yes, give me more of that. And that's why people experiencing new relationship energy can feel like euphoric, right? Another chemical is norepinephrine, and this is related to excitement, alertness, focus. It's why you can suddenly have endless energy to stay up till 2 a.m. talking, and why your brain keeps replaying moments over and over and over with this person. Then you have oxytocin, the bonding hormone. This increases during touch, sex, eye contact, cuddling, emotional vulnerability, and it creates that feeling of like, I feel so connected to you. I feel like, man, you get me, right? And this one's really fascinating. Researchers have discovered that when people fall in love, their serotonin levels actually drop. And serotonin is the chemical that normally helps you regulate repetitive thinking. So when it dips, your brain becomes much more likely to loop. And then suddenly you're thinking about this person constantly, replaying conversations, checking your phone, wondering when you'll see them again, right? And like your brain isn't broken. It's just temporarily running a very powerful attachment program. Another fun fact, researchers have done brain scans to find that falling in love activates the brain's reward circuit and that produces this euphoria that's similar to what people experience when they're using addictive substances like cocaine or alcohol. Their brain lights up the same way, right? And some studies even describe early romantic love as a natural addiction because it involves the same dopamine-driven motivation and craving systems, which completely explains why you're feeling so euphoric and obsessive and maybe a little bit irrational. Your brain is basically going, please, like, give me more of this drug, give me more of this human now. One more thing that happens during new relationship energy is that your brain literally changes how you see the person that you're focused on. When people are in these early stages of falling in love, brain imaging shows increased activity in the reward centers, like we talked about, but the area responsible for critical judgment actually quiets down a little bit. So your brain starts highlighting their best qualities and dimming your critical spotlight. And psychologists call this positive illusion. And that explains why your friends might be like, yeah, sure, they seem nice or whatever. And you're over here like, no, guys, you don't get it. This person is basically a magical forest creature sent to heal my soul. Your friends are like, sure. And a lot of times when people are talking about NRE, they assume that it's like this short little phase. right? But research actually suggests that the early stage romantic chemistry can last for 12, 6 to 18 months, right? So when people are like, oh, it's just NRE, it'll pass. Well, yeah, time to have an experience that's supposed to be temporary, right? Like that's enough time to move cities, change jobs, leave marriages, get engaged, have babies, completely reorganize your life, right? And so that this is the part that like a lot of people in non-monogamous communities talk about a lot is don't make big decisions during NRE because NRE is really powerful. And when you combine that hormonal cocktail, emotional intensity, your judgment can be optimistic. It can be very optimistic, and your brain tends to minimize red flags. You start idealizing the person. You might project a future, assume compatibility, and overlook the logistical realities, right? Your brain basically is just like running the highlight reel. It's not the full movie. You don't see the whole story. So decisions like moving in together, merging finances, leaving another partner, making huge life changes can sometimes be driven by the intensity of the moment rather than actual long-term compatibility. And so this is why experienced non-monogamous folks often recommend like give the relationship time to settle before you make major changes. And not because the love isn't real, right? It's not like, oh, that's not real, it's just NRE, but because clarity actually comes with time, right? And yeah, some NRE might be the early, like first 2 or 3 dates and you're like, oh man, this is amazing. But then you start to see who they really are and the NRE wears off and you're like, oh, never mind. That is also a thing. But sometimes it's just really long, right? And here's the part I don't love. Sometimes NRE gets talked about like it's a big problem, like it's something irresponsible or immature. Like if you're feeling excited about someone, you must not be doing polyamory correctly or right? I'm using air quotes. But I think that framing is actually kind of unfair because NRE, new relationship energy, is also really beautiful and energizing and inspiring, creative and joyful, right? It reminds us that we're alive. It reminds us that connections can still surprise us. And honestly, that spark can breathe life into people and relationships, into all your relationships. So the goal is not to eliminate NRE. The goal is to stay really conscious when you're experiencing it, to be very aware of what is happening for you. And people ask all the time, like, can you trust your feelings during new relationship energy? Like, if I'm experiencing NRE, can I trust what I'm feeling? And it's a very nuanced answer, right? Like your feelings are real, your emotions are real, the excitement's real, the attraction is real, the connection is real, but your interpretation of those feelings might not be fully informed yet, right? So you can think of NRE as like the opening chapter of a book. You're getting to know the characters, you can feel the chemistry, but you don't yet know the whole story. You don't know how it's going to unfold. So yes, trust that something meaningful is happening, but also stay really curious about what you haven't learned yet. Another thing I really want to talk about that people don't talk about as much is for a lot of people, NRE doesn't just create excitement. It also creates some anxiety, right? Especially in non-monogamous relationships. Because when one partner is experiencing intense new relationship energy with someone new, the other partner might be feeling comparison, insecurity, a fear of replacement, the loss of attention or time, uncertainty about the future. Even people who fully believe in non-monogamy can feel their nervous system get activated. Even people who experience a lot of compersion can feel their nervous system get activated. And part of that is because humans are wired to notice changes in attachment and changes in attention, changes in patterns. And so that doesn't automatically mean someone's doing something wrong, right? But it does mean that your nervous system is trying to protect the connection and trying to protect yourself. And so when NRE shows up in the relationship container, in the ecosystem of a relationship, it does require extra communication, extra reassurance, emotional care, maintaining your relationships, right? And the flip side of that is that sometimes the person who's in NRE, who's feeling it, is also feeling anxious, right? Like the physical sensations can be very similar to anxiety, but also you're suddenly holding a lot, right? You might feel excitement about a new connection, love and loyalty towards your existing partners, fear of hurting someone, pressure to manage everyone's feelings, worry that you're doing something wrong, right? You might catch yourself thinking like, am I neglecting my partners? Am I getting carried away? What if this doesn't last? What if I ruin something important? New relationship energy can make your emotions feel bigger and louder. And that means both the joy and the worry get amplified, right? Some people start to police their own feelings. They try to suppress their excitement because they're afraid of what it might mean or what might come from it, or they feel guilty for feeling happy. But the truth is that experiencing new relationship energy doesn't mean you're abandoning someone. It means you're human with this whole nervous system and brain responding to connection. And so your work isn't to shut it down. Your work is to stay conscious and responsible inside of it. So like if you're experiencing new relationship energy, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time saying that. It feels like a tongue twister. If you're in NRE right now, here's some reminders, okay? First of all, enjoy it. Seriously, it's a beautiful part of being human. It's a beautiful part of these things we get to experience. You know, feeling excited about someone, feeling inspired, feeling curious about another person. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is also where I will share what I tell my clients all the time. Slow down. Slow way the fuck down, okay? Your brain and your body are running on a powerful cocktail of feel-good chemicals. They're literally telling you, like, spend all your time with this person. Think about them constantly. Text them again. See them tomorrow. Cancel your plans. Go hang out with them. Your biology is encouraging obsession and immersion. And just because your brain is giving you that signal does not mean you have to follow it, okay? You can choose to move slowly. You can choose to take space. You can choose to maintain all the other areas of your life. And honestly, that's one of the healthiest things you can do for the new relationship, old relationships, yourself, because when we slow down, we make room to have good perspective, to regulate yourself emotionally, to be curious instead of projecting your desires onto this person, and you can create a sustainable connection. One of the most important things you can do during NRE is intentionally give yourself time away from the new shiny person. And not because you're trying to suppress the connection, but because you have to protect your life, your existing life, the you in your relationships, right? You want to spend time with your existing partners. You want to spend time with your friends. You want to spend time doing the things that make you feel like yourself, that feed you. Your family, right? When people get swept up in NRE and they start rearranging their entire world around this new person, that's when things get unstable and unhealthy. And I say this with a lot of love because I've watched it happen a lot, right? If you're already mentally redecorating their house, if you're planning your shared vegetable garden and you're wondering where the dog will sleep, take a deep breath. Put the metaphorical U-Haul down for a minute, okay? Let the relationship breathe. Let it have space. Let it have a good pacing. Slowing down keeps your life balanced. And slowing down actually can make the new relationship energy last longer. All those feel-good chemicals, they just last longer when you slow down. When people dive in head first and they spend every waking moment together, they'll burn through that intensity really quickly. It's like eating the whole ass cake in one sitting. And it might taste delicious in the moment, but it doesn't last very long and then it gives you a tummy ache, right? So when you pace yourself, the excitement has space to breathe. It stretches out. The curiosity stays alive longer. And the relationship gets a chance to develop depth and not just intensity. It gets a chance to develop in a healthy way. And you also want to watch for scarcity in your thinking. Sometimes people feel when they're in NRE, they feel this like pressure that says like, I have to get as much of this as I can right now. What if it disappears? What if they lose interest in me? What if this is my only chance? What if everything goes wrong? Right? And that feeling of urgency can push people to move too fast and to overinvest and to fuse their lives together before the foundation is there, before they know that they're actually compatible. And that's where these unhealthy relationship dynamics begin. When things are driven by this fear of scarcity instead of in a grounded connection. Healthy relationships don't require urgency, guys. They can unfold over time. And if you're in new relationship energy, see if you can hold both truths at the same time, right? Yes, enjoy the spark. Yes, enjoy the excitement. And also let it breathe. Let the relationship reveal itself to you slowly, because the strongest connections are the ones that can grow without rushing them, right? And one of the things I find really beautiful about relationships and the science of relationships is that love does not disappear after new relationship energy fades. Researchers have shown that love does not disappear. It changes form. Early romantic love, NRE, is heavily driven by the dopamine, right? It's driven by it. It's what gives you all that excitement, the anticipation, the craving, the intense focus on the other person. This is the stage where everything feels electric. But over time, as a relationship stabilizes, the brain gradually shifts towards different chemistry. As relationships deepen, the brain relies more on oxytocin and vasopressin. These are the hormones connected to bonding, to trust, safety, emotional safety, long-term attachment. And so instead of the high energy excitement of dopamine, these chemicals create something different. They give you a sense of calm, a sense of comfort, a sense of security, a sense of home. And this is the stage where love starts to feel less like fireworks and more like a steady fire in the hearth. And brain imaging studies have shown that people in long-term loving relationships, they actually still activate the reward centers when they see their partner. But the brain also shows strong activity in attachment and bonding networks. So long-term love is not just like less excitement, okay? It's actually a much more integrated emotional state, combining attraction with security and trust, right? You want both, not one or the other. So really, guys, like new relationship energy is not the enemy. It's a natural part of how humans bond. It's chemistry, it's curiosity, it's attraction and possibility all colliding at once. And the goal is not to suppress it. It's to enjoy the spark while keeping your feet on the ground. Okay? The best relationships aren't just built on fireworks. They're built on what remains after the fireworks settle. And if you're navigating NRE right now, either in a new relationship or watching a partner go through it, you're normal, you're human, you're not broken. And with awareness and communication, NRE can be something that adds a lot of richness to your life rather than chaos. So if you're listening to this and you're like, whoo, that sounds an awful lot like what I have going on right now, what's happening in my relationship right now, that's usually a good moment to get some support, especially if you're navigating things like new relationship energy, jealousy or insecurity, opening a relationship, or reopening a relationship, or figuring out your boundaries and your agreements, or just trying to create relationships that actually feel really good for the people in them, okay? I offer free clarity calls where we can talk about what's going on in your relationships, what you want to create moving forward, and whether or not coaching might actually be helpful for you. There's no pressure. It's just a conversation, right? You can grab a time on my website, ElleciaPaine.com/call, or grab the link in the show notes. I would love to chat with you. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope this has been helpful. I adore you. Bye. Your biology is encouraging. Man, what another tongue twister. Try that again.